Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading for the week of July 13th. This week, I think you have a very similar message to last week, if I'm not mistaken. You have a lot of very similar cards. So, the first card you have is the King of Hearts, which is a card of being compassionate, receiving compassion. It is a love card, so, love is definitely on the table, I would say, for the single Virgos out there. You could definitely go out there and meet somebody. They would be very King of Hearts like, so probably a water sign. Very, you know, they would be water, just like a water sign, which is the opposite of what Virgo is. Most water signs are opposite Virgo. Pisces is the opposite of Virgo, but you know, maybe you need that this week. So for the single ones out there, that's who I'm talking about. Like I said, there could be a water sign out there who you might start a relationship with. On the other side, this card just represents having a laser-like focus, and I think that's what I said to you last week, if I'm not mistaken. This card is all about being really focused to become successful at something. So whether it be your job, a business, some idea you have, even your relationships. It's not just money. It's not just business or a job. It's even in your own personal relationships, being very focused and working on what needs to be worked on is what this card means. It's a great card to have. It's a leadership card. It represents leadership. People who get this card, do tend to take on leadership roles and be very leader-like. So I think you'll be feeling that energy the most this week. And it's funny because the next card you have is the Queen of Diamonds, and she is very, very similar. She is very a great leader. Number one, she's very got that leadership ability. And I often say that a lot of people, traditional readers, will call the King of Diamonds the CEO, but I always say that I think she makes the better CEO. So I think you'll be feeling that energy. It doesn't mean you're going to become a CEO. It just means that you'll be feeling that kind of business mindedness and things along those lines. And the thing is that she's better at being a CEO because she is very intelligent, so she uses her mind. She has a business sense because she's a diamond, but she also uses her intuition, which the King of Diamonds does not. He is typically not as intuitive as she is, so she kind of has that edge when it comes to business and dealings. So if you're doing any business, if you're doing any dealings this week, trying to get a job, or you have a job, you're trying to negotiate a raise, use your intuition and you will be very successful this week. You have two court cards coming up in very strong positions, two of the better court cards, I should say. And, I think it leaves you in a very powerful position this week, coming in very strong, carrying, it'll go through the entire week, really. The next card you have in the reading here is the Two of Clubs. Two of Clubs can represent a lot of things. For the most part, it represents overcoming a fear to become successful. It is a card of success. I mean, it does bring with it success, but it's a card of overcoming something you're afraid of in whether that be in love or in finance and business. Or, it does ask you to stretch yourself this week. And again, I feel like I said this to you last week. I could be very wrong, but it's a card that says you need to do something that scares you this week, and you will be extra successful. You need to kind of push yourself. If there's something that freaks you out to think about, like I said, and this isn't so many. I read for so many different people here on YouTube. It's hard to, narrow it down, but because the clubs represent everything in your life. So if there's something that scares you that you know that you need to do to be more successful, do it this week. And you'll have the power to do it. I mean, you got these two right here giving you a lot of juice. I think things that would normally scare you a lot more will be lessened because of those two cards. So definitely take that energy and use it. The next card you have is the Seven of Diamonds. This is another interesting card. It can be a card of feeling a lack of money. Well, I don't think you are going to be lacking money this week, per se. I think most of you will be doing okay money-wise. But it is a card of focusing on what you do have, and it's another card that does represent fear, kind of like this card, and taking advantage of something that you might be afraid of, but it will lead to a lot of success. The thing about the Seven of Diamonds is that it wants to be an 8, and like I say in some of my videos, if the cards had feelings, the Seven of Diamonds would want to be an 8, and it wants to be complete. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means that this card always ends up being, it always ends up being a happy situation. You always end up better off than you were with this card. And I was reading about this card in particular the other day, and it's a card of millionaires. A lot of millionaires in life have this card in their readings. And if you look up birth cards, and you can go ahead and look up this Seven of Diamonds, and you'll see a lot of the websites out there that do the birth cards. A lot of very successful people have this card, so it does represent success. It's an interesting card to get. So overall, I think you have a very powerful week. I think you will be very powerful this week. And I think you just need to overcome a fear or take advantage of a fear, and you will be extra successful. So thank you for watching this video.